Okay, let's show you some separations of mixtures, some simple process that will separate different kinds of mixtures into their different components. Could be because all mixtures must be able to be separated by physical means. So this is by no means all the ways to separate mixtures, but it is a few of them that are kind of used and can be used in everyday experience. The first thing I'm going to show you here is this pencil with these pieces of paper hanging from them. And these pieces of paper, it's kind of like a filter paper. It's called chromatography paper. It's kind of like a stiff paper towel. And you'll notice on each piece of paper there are lines drawn. I have a black line, I have a green line, a red line, and then back here hidden is a blue line. It's tough to see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang on a pencil here. I'm going to hang these pieces of paper over this beaker. But before I do so, I'm going to put some liquid in the bottom of the beaker. Well, this liquid is just water. Just some water. Now, these lines are made from, like I said, dry erase markers. And then I'm going to put those pieces of paper in the water. And what you'll notice if I bring it by gently is that the water is climbing the paper. And as the water climbs the paper, it's going to get up to where the lines from the marker are. And some things are going to happen when that occurs. So while that happens, we're going to gently slide this back to the back. I'll bring this stuff up front. Oopsie. So here, I have a beaker full of sand and a lump of sugar. And I'm going to add water. So I'm going to make this mixture. And it's going to look like a mess. And I'm going to shake it around. Use the stir rod. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Stir it all together. Now I have a mess. I have a mess of sand, sugar, and water. And I want to separate it. Well, one of the ways we can do separations is to just filter it. I have a filter paper here. It is originally round. We fold it in half and fold it in half again. And if I take the side of it, you'll note that there's, it looks like 4 pieces of paper. It's really just one, but 4. It looks like 4. And then if I separate and put 3 to one side and 1 to the other, it makes a nice cone. And I'm going to put that cone in a funnel. Put that in there. And now what I can do is I can pour this water into the funnel, and when I do that, you can see, I'll lift the camera up a little bit for a second, you can see that in the funnel is the dirty water, but what's coming out down the bottom isn't as dirty, because the filter paper is funneling a good portion of the water. And we're going to let that set for a while and collect a little bit of liquid. And talk about that in a few minutes. So let's take a break here and come back to that after that has filtered a while. Okay, so you can see I've been filtering the water and the sand and the sugar, and you can see in the filter paper right here, in the bottom of the filter paper, there's a good amount of sand under there. And so when I let the rest of this water drip through, I can capture that sand. Also, when I was pouring it out, it was not so clean, so I still have a bunch of sand in here too, don't I? So I know it's not perfect, but I did separate the sand from the water and the sugar. And so now in here, I have the water and I have some sand up here. But the question is, well, where's the sugar? And how do I get the sugar back? Well, the sugar is not caught in the filter. Nope. The sugar is not left in here. I mean, there might be a little sugar left in there, but a bulk of it isn't. So where's the sugar? Yeah, it's in the water. And I need to get that out of the water. I need to get the sugar by itself. So, in order to do that, I am going to bring in my hot plate. And I'm going to take just a little bit of my clean water that I got. Just a little bit. I could do this all, but it would take all day. I'm gonna put this on the heating plate. And it's off camera, but I'm gonna heat it up. Show that to you in a minute. But while that's doing its thing, let me move this out of the way. Notice what's happening here. As the water is crawling up the paper, the chromatography paper, the inks are starting to separate. The different inks, or a color of ink is actually made up of multiple colors of ink. And so those inks will separate as the water continues to travel up the paper and stretches out that ink. So we're going to give that a little more time, and we'll check it out when the water is done boiling. Actually, before I go, let me show you the water boiling. So we'll just show you that water boiling. There you go. The water's boiling away. It won't take long, but when it gets nearly done, I'll show you what happens. All right, so the water's boiling away. It's almost all gone. You can hear it. Then I'm gonna get it almost, and I don't want it to burn. So in there, it'll dry out, and there's going to be my sugar. It's a little caramelized. It's a little melty, but really heated sugar. There it is. It's not perfect, but it is there. If you've ever made candies at home, you know what the process is like. Now, getting back to our separations. Look at that. I'm going to pause the camera and take these off and show them to you. Okay, so here are those papers. We have the red marker. Notice it's just red. Nothing really to separate, it was just red. The blue marker, nothing to separate. It was just blue. The green marker, green isn't really green. It was a mixture of blue and yellow. And here is the black marker, which isn't really black. Blue is a mixture, or black is a mixture of the blue, the red, and the yellow. A mixture of all three. So, pretty neat. But again, this is called separation by chromatography. Here's my filter paper with my sand. I got the sand away from the water. And the water, of course, is in here. This is actually sugar water. Now, getting the water by itself would be tough because you'd have to capture it after you boiled it all away. But when you did boil all the water away, of course, you did get your sugar. Now, this is a mess, and it's doesn't look quite the same. It's a little syrupy in there, but that is your sugar, a little caramelized. I could make caramel here in the lab, but I'm not going to today. So I hope that illustrates some physical processes that separates mixtures.